Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Hello, beautiful souls. Thank you guys so much for joining me here, and welcome to my table. If you're new here, hello, my name is Zachary. It's nice to meet you. And if you're returning, good to see you guys again. Pull up a chair, my friends. I did save you a seat. So, come on in, come on in. I have been feeling this message coming through for quite some time. I mean, it has been coming through in a lot of my readings, peeking its little head through. More apparent or not, more subtle, depending on the message, but consistent. And so I felt today encouraged to sit down and talk about this topic. Addiction, something that we feel we struggle to release a connection to or an attachment to. Maybe it has more power over us than we feel that we have power over it. And this can be a substance. This can be an external substance of any sort, what we would consider to be a drug or alcohol, which is a drug, right? Food, sex, porn, relationships, our own emotions, our own trauma, right? Other people's emotions or trauma. We can get addicted to just about anything. It's very, very easy to do, right? And we live in a day and age where it's less about if you're going to become addicted to something and more about when and what it's going to be. Because everything is demanding so much of our attention and squeezing every last drop of dopamine that we can produce. This is why we are essentially looking at a reality of it's a matter of when and what it's going to be. And maybe we've already struggled with something addiction-wise. Maybe we're going to struggle again. I don't feel like the goal is to be this radiant, pure experience, right? It's what we learn through the process. I feel like for some of us, we do decide to come here and have an experience maybe that is entrenched in addiction. I do feel that the soul wants to experience growth through something like addiction. And there are varying degrees of how extreme that can be or how it affects us, right? We can be a functioning addict, or maybe we're not a functioning addict, and maybe we float between those things. Especially the state of the world at this time. Not that, it's not been bad before in the past. We go in cycles, but this is an opportune time for addiction to take hold. As we may want to numb or escape, it's very easy to turn a crutch into we can't live without it, right? So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Lifting the veil in the Starseed Oracle has come through quite a few many times through my readings here this past year. Addiction, anything unaligned must go, is the whole point of that. So we're lifting the veil and we're paying attention. We're putting conscious energy towards whether or not something is for us, or if we want to make the decision to extricate something from our lives. This is our choice, right? So I want to get started here with the Starseed Oracle, actually. Pull a couple cards, 333 on the timer. Love it. So Spirit, starting with this message here. Whoever this message is for, this is a general message to you guys, so please use your head, heart, and intuition to decipher that for yourselves. What do we have going on for this person with this message, please, of addiction, releasing addiction? Wait, it's not time yet. It's not time yet, excuse me. It's not yet time, that's why. Things are being woven. So that's an interesting card to come through here. I'm drawn back to, initially the message might be like, well, hold off, maybe don't stop your addiction quite yet. This is an interesting message. So I don't feel like that component is for everybody, but I do feel like a major upliftment is what I'm getting. Interesting. Like you're waiting to see a sign, but I feel tentative to say sign. Encouragement. Okay, like the light. I saw the sign. Okay. It reminds me of like I used to smoke cigarettes forever. Super happy to be quit. It's been a few years since I've quit, but there was a point near the end there where I was really trying. I mean, it took maybe like 46 times I think I counted to quit. It can be very difficult. But my counselor didn't want me to stop smoking cigarettes at the time because it was the only thing that was my constant at that point. There were so many things that were changing in my life. It made more sense to hold on to something that was consistent because taking that away would have disrupted my mental health, my ability to feel secure in any way more than it would have helped my health in taking that away. So like I said, I don't feel like that's for everybody, but that's an interesting message to come through. Sometimes maybe you are that person, like cigarettes specifically, you're struggling with. If you're in that position where you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to stop something like that, there's nothing wrong with wanting to make that decision. But recognizing how that does affect the body, how it affects us to make those kinds of changes, to be realistic with ourselves. Are we prepared to do something like that? Are we stable enough to take away something that's been stable? You see what I'm saying? There is an encouragement to get ourselves to that place, but there may be a few of us that aren't in that place, and that's okay. And I feel like it's not, we're not beating ourselves up about that. Like I said, getting out of here, the goal is to not be this pure ball of light. It's the experience. It's what we learn, how to approach certain issues, certain good things and certain bad things. So this is an opportunity to learn how we approach what we consider to be the devil, right? What we consider to be in the shadow. Those chains that keep us bound to this experience. Those are chains that we've placed on ourselves. So we can take them off at any time, and there may be moments that are better to remove those chains than others, okay? All right, what else here, please, for this message, for this person? For addiction, what's going on? You want the bottom one? Okay. Breath of the Cosmos, my will to thy will, micromanaging the universe. Surrender, right? So surrendering to this flow. We're getting this message that maybe it's time to release something, like I said. It's okay to be in a pre-planning phase before we move into action phase. In fact, we need to be. There are two phases of pre-planning, right? We're in a phase where we're not interested in making a change. This is pre-plan 1. Pre-plan 2 is we're interested in making a change, but maybe we just haven't made that step yet. This can go for exercise, diet, quitting a substance, etc. So in this situation, regardless of what it is that you believe as far as a higher power, there is a point where we have to surrender to a higher power. This doesn't have to be God. Like I know AA, NA, there is a specific approach towards God. God can be an energy that is said in many different ways, right? Many different names God has. The universe, the Akasha, source, the quantum field. It's recognizing that maybe we're out of flow. Maybe we're out of flow with the greater flow. So that's surrendering my will to thy will is allowing that flow to come back into congruency, for us to come back into congruency with that flow. I know surrender, for me personally, throughout my life, has been an interesting understanding, a process of understanding what that even means. We're not giving up on ourselves, right? We're not giving our power away either. We're allowing for a greater flow, the energy that orchestrates everything, to bring us back into flow. Okay? We're getting out of our way, right? We're getting the hell out of our own way. So let's move forward here with this. Animal Oracle, please. Talk about the general energy for this person. Spirit. Ooh, the peacock. So this came through recently too, being a very rare energy. The peacock can transmute any emotional experience or energy. And this is interesting as we're talking about addiction too. So there's an energy that we're not able to process. We haven't been able to process from childhood, trauma that's happened at any point, trauma in other lifetimes, right? Karma, things that we bring with us into this life from other lives. It is a very rare experience to be able to transmute all of that. But I feel like this is what maybe we're striving for. It feels like there's a lot of pressure somebody's putting on themselves. I chose that song in the beginning, Amazing Grace. It is a bit more of a religious hymn, but also there's a lot of applicability outside of looking at just God. Like I said, God has many names. God has many names. Grace. Grace. Are you giving yourself grace? No matter where you are right now, no matter what it is that you are struggling with as far as substance, addiction, like I said, food, sex, porn, people, emotions, whatever. Drugs, it can be anything. Are you giving yourself grace? Or are you beating yourself up? Are you beating the shit out of yourself? Those changes that we're looking to make as we're releasing control, my will to thy will. We are not allowing an image of hatred towards ourselves to persist. It's totally against the point of all of this. That idea of self-love, like obviously if you're in a place where you feel that something needs to change, something needs to change. But this isn't going to happen by beating yourself through it. Where are you lacking compassion or care for yourself right now? We live in a world that is so quick to remove any modicum of grace or compassion, to eliminate it, right? It still exists here and there. Be that person who cultivates grace and compassion and see what that does for your life, okay? Instead of beating yourself up. So what is blocked at this time for this person, please, Spirit? What is blocked? And compassion. Compassion is blocked. What is blocked for this person? Butterfly flew out here in reverse. Unicorn at the bottom also. That part, I just got chills on that. Was blind, but now I see, right? Was blind, but now I see. This is the third eye chakra. In this deck in particular, we can look at that energy as we're talking about God or higher source, higher power. Does that exist? Is that real? We're not seeing evidence of that from outside of ourselves. We're seeing evidence inside. Inside, my friends, always inside. Reality exists inside. The kingdom of heaven exists inside. Everything that we're looking to achieve is in here. None of it is out here. So the butterfly coming through in reverse is the blocked energy. This is your great transformation. It's in reverse. It's blocked right now. So there's some resistance. We're having a hard time getting to that point for whatever reason. Maybe we do need to wait. Maybe there is something about it that is the last piece of our support we need to hold on to. We need to wait until it's safer to remove that from our life, right? Or maybe we're in a place where we're ready to go. Tell me when to go to release this. What is it that we need right now, please, Spirit? What do we need at this time? Or this person, yes, in this process. The buffalo. That came through in reverse too. Okay. So the buffalo is an energy of like eye to the horizon, not letting things trip us up. The buffalo knows that there are obstacles along the way. There's always going to be obstacles along the way. But they know what the long-term goal is. So they're keeping their eye on the horizon and not letting themselves get tripped up by whatever's around them to be tripped up by, okay? They know that life is full of shit, right? It's full of good things and it's full of shit. Being in reverse like this, I feel like this is a quality that we're yearning for. Like we want to be that energy of unshakable, right? We need to be unshakable. With conviction. Okay, let's pull some tarot here. I'm going to use the Crow Tarot for this portion. Oh, the tower there at the bottom. Big change coming, guys. Big change. Can we look a little bit deeper into this message, please, Spirit? What it is that we're struggling with right now, with this person that we're struggling with, the general energy. Five of Cups. I'm going to pull another one here too. So disappointment and regret. That makes sense. Two of Swords also. We'll start here with the Five of Cups. So we've spilled some. This is interesting as we're talking about addiction too. We've spilled something in these cups here. Maybe it is alcohol there's a struggle with. Whatever's spilled here in these cups, though, we lost a taste for. There was a point where we enjoyed whatever is inside of these cups. It brought us joy. It brought us joy or peace or whatever. But it's no longer doing that. So it's been taken away, or we've spilled it, we've lost it. We're focusing on what it is that we've lost, even though there's a reality that we didn't really want to participate in that anymore anyway. So we're being asked to turn to where it is that we still have full cups. Connection. And this is interesting with connection. So addiction, there were 2 studies done with the mice and the Coke water, the water that had cocaine in it. The first one was done in the 70s. They put a mouse in a cage. One side had plain water, one side had Coke water. They found that the mouse went to the Coke water every single time until they died. Every single time. So our understanding of addiction and how addictive certain things can be really stemmed from that study. It told us that it's so addictive, it's going to kill you. Stay away from that every single time. The issue with that kind of study is there was no other form of stimulus inside of the cage. And the mouse, just like us, are social creatures. So they redid this in, I believe it was 2014. They made a mouse utopia. And a bunch of other mice, places to play, eat, have sex, whatever, to be a normal mouse. Same water setup was created. Most healthy mice would go to the normal water most of the time. Sometimes they'd hit the Coke water, but most of the time they hit the normal water. There were mice, though, who were disconnected from the rest of the group, who did not have social connections, that got addicted to the Coke water. And they found that by reintroducing them to society, to the other mice around them socially, they were able to heal that connection issue. So what we're finding, not that there aren't things that aren't addictive, but because we can get addicted to anything, I believe, especially with these studies, that addiction is a connection issue. There's something that we're lacking or that has been taken away from us in the form of connection. We require main connections in our life. Through work, through family, through friends, through love, right? There are many different, our own self-fulfillment, hobbies. If there's anything that's off in that way, maybe we don't have a good relationship to our family or any. Those of us that were raised where that was the situation or it's changed, right? That's where any human being can become addicted to anything. You start messing with somebody's connection or their stability in that way, we reach for stimulus somewhere else. That's why the whole dopamine issue right now, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when and what it's going to be that we may struggle with addiction-wise. And this isn't a failure. We're just human. We just have a human brain, right? Doing a human brain thing. Whoever needs to hear that, okay? I feel like someone's really beating the shit out of themselves. And this doesn't help anything. This doesn't help make any changes. Compassion and grace is what we're talking about today. With Two of Swords coming through, this is a decision, but it's feeling like we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. This, I feel like, is the experience of being in addiction. There's that wanting to be away from it and then feeling like we can't. Constantly stuck in between that. It does feel like there's a connection issue, like I said, with the Five of Cups coming through here. Not that it's as easy to just turn away from where it is that we feel disappointed, but starting to bring awareness to these things is step one. We can start to make changes once we can see, right? So if this is you, I encourage you to look at where it is that you might be holding on to something that you've lost in the past. Or are you aware of that or not? Awareness is the important part here because then we can do something about it, okay? Then we can start to work on it. Can we look at, bouncing off of that here, I want to look at like a root cause. What's going on here for this person? What is causing this issue at this time? Eight of Wands. I'm going to do another one here too. It kind of, Fell just perfectly in my lap. Page of Pentacles here. This is interesting. I feel like with the Eight of Wands and Page of Pentacles here. So Eight of Wands, the component of losing energy. These wands have been thrown across the yard and they're now falling towards the earth. Whatever this is representing, what I'm hearing is like it's had its time in the sun. Maybe you've had your time in the sun. I'm hearing memory from cats. Which is, if you haven't seen that, it's all about this cat who used to be beautiful. She used to be popular, all of this stuff, and now she's in older age and nothing is that way anymore. The line that's standing out to me on that is touch me. It's so easy to leave me. She's just requesting this connection, right? The connection that she used to have when she was younger. And we all go through this process as we get older. Connection does change, especially as we get older. We may actually lose people, right? Whether relationships ending or it's their time to transition. It's just not the same connection-wise as maybe when we were younger. So I feel like this is exactly what's going on, you guys. With Page of Pentacles here, it feels like this push to improve. I feel like there's a narrative from a parent, an adult, caretaker somewhere in childhood. That whole pick ourselves up by the bootstraps, right? Get yourself up by the bootstraps. You pick yourself up. Really not a huge fan of that. I'm really not. If pushing through everything solved anything, we would not be where we are right now in general as a population. There is some grace and compassion that's needed here. This feels like a push to perfection. Like there's never an end point towards your own improvement. Ooh, interesting. Got chills on that. Maybe that hit home a little bit more than I wanted it to. That constant drive for improvement or for something to change, that in and of itself is a dragon we can't ever catch, right? That in and of itself may be an addiction you're struggling with. Oofda. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. Got a bitch slap there. Leap of faith, taking a risk, stepping into the beauty of the unknown. I do feel like this is connected to that pursuit of perfection. And in a world where, where everything is demanding perfection from us, the beauty industry, filters, everything must be perfect. I mean, even seeing younger kids these days feeling that they need to do Botox to preemptively catch up on wrinkles, or they're using anti-aging products. And it's actually causing more issues. It's causing aging because it's skin that doesn't need those kind of ingredients. That's kind of that drive I'm talking about. Like it doesn't exist, but there's pressure from the outside society that's demanding that we be this way. The only way that we can make a change from that is to first see it, to identify it. How can we choose whether or not to participate in something if we don't know there's even something there to participate in? Got to open our eyes, right? Open our eyes. I want to dive a little bit deeper into the message of compassion here, because I feel like this is an important part. Can we move in? How can we bring more compassion into this situation, please, Spirit? King of Pentacles, just do it. Just do it, you guys. This is an abundance and graciousness. The King of Pentacles is abundant. They're happy. They're positive. They share that wealth and abundance and joy with others, whoever needs it. What I'm getting, that's interesting. What I'm getting is an encouragement to look at your friend group or those that you hang out with. Are you finding, or if you took some time to look, can you see how the way you behave, what you show up as in the world, is a combination of those that you have in your inner circle as well? If you can't see that, I encourage you to find that, because it's true. It's going to happen. It's human nature, right? I feel like this is an encouragement to lean towards those energies that are a bit more abundant, not to pull from that. Like if we're in a pile of dog shit, right? We're in a shitty position, big old pile of poo-poo. To go from that to like seeing, oh, this person's full of light and positive, and that's where I want to be, to glob onto that. That's a boundary issue. That's not what I'm encouraging here. What I would encourage is like who you're following, right? Who you're following on YouTube or social media. The stuff that you put into your brain, media-wise, it doesn't have to be a specific person. I understand that process of people, wanting to do that. They are people too, and boundaries are important, okay? Boundaries are important. We can't just become something because we want to be around somebody or, talking to them more or what have you. We still have to become this inside of us. Books, what you're reading, what you're listening to, what you're watching on social media. Anything else on that, please? This is where compassion starts with a choice. What are you, yeah, of course, Spirit. What are you putting into your own experience? That's love or not, right? What else here, please, on compassion? The Nine of Pentacles. You can do it. This is your independence. Having everything that you need to be happy in this world. I feel like for some, this is an encouragement to look at, okay, what is coming through is like being raised in poverty, right? I was raised in poverty. That's my experience. That's a very difficult place to get out of because we're raised with a set of beliefs in that too. Maybe that our family doesn't get out of poverty or we can't do that or, money is for other people or whatever. What I'm getting here is to bring a lens of grace and compassion towards where it is that we've been, particularly in childhood. Were we in a situation where we just didn't have the things that we needed? Instead of fighting against that or being bitter, being angry towards that, love. There's some grace and compassion that's requested here towards your own experience. This is where it starts. If you're having a hard time giving yourself grace and compassion in what you're doing in this moment, let's start at the beginning. Let's start with you, okay? Let's talk about steps towards healing. How do we move towards healing here, please, Spirit? King of Cups, hey. Our emotional experience. So learning to master our emotional experience. This isn't controlling emotions. This is flow. Getting back to that greater flow. So how do we surrender, you guys? Surrendering to the waves. Surrendering to our own emotions. This does not mean that we are attacking others with our emotional experience. When we're angry, we throw anger at others. When we're depressed, we pull others into that depression too. There is a difference between honoring our own emotional experience and taking it out on other people, okay? There are some people that we can talk to about some of these deeper emotions, but we've got to get into a place where we're starting boundaries, you guys, where we're asking these people, hey, can you hold this weight? You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, it's emotional dumping, and we're just perpetuating the cycle. This would be that boundary issue with the King of Pentacles. Maybe we know a King of Pentacles. Let's ask them if it's okay to go over something. Hey, I'm feeling really depressed, right? Can you hold space for that? If not, we need to find healthy spaces to be able to do that. But steps towards healing here is letting the emotions are stuck. It's the emotional experience that's creating this need to reach out for connection, for something where we're not receiving connection. Grab one more here on this, please, Spirit. Retreat, time spent alone. Reflection on past and current situations. So, like I was saying before, what we're looking for is not out here. Really, ever. It's all in here. This is not retreating with the addiction, though. Can you start taking steps where you're pushing yourself in a place like maybe your addiction is to grab gossip magazines, right? Give yourself a second before you grab one of those if you're feeling stressed, or getting on your phone. Social media is an addiction. Drugs or alcohol. Maybe you're addicted to talking to somebody, right? Identifying this and giving yourself space and widening that gap as you move along makes it easier to take control. Speaking of taking control, let's talk about reclaiming power in this situation. How do we reclaim power? Do you want these? The top one? Okay. The four of Swords. All right. Four of Swords in reverse. 10 of Pentacles here at the bottom. Here's our legacy, everything that we're working towards. In order to get to this happiness, though, we have to start off here with us. We have to look at our own situation first. The Four of Swords coming in reverse here. How do we take our power back? This is stepping away from licking our wounds. This would be that process we're avoiding when we do reach for whatever this addictive thing is. It's the difference between letting the heart heal and just licking our wounds to survive. Allowing that wound to heal. Oof, okay. Anything else on that, please, Spirit? The Four of Cups, excuse me, if I could count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Four of Cups. Actually, I love this. This is our power, our healing is always being offered to us. Always. This is constantly being offered. And maybe we're constantly missing it because we're stuck here on our own experience, feeling negative, feeling angry, feeling bitter, feeling disappointed, or feeling regret, feeling trapped in an emotional experience instead of letting it flow. When we look up, we're able to see there is another path through here. May not be easy. There's not, a switch towards everything, but is it easy now? Is it easy now? I don't know. Maybe it is. I feel like it's probably not, though. In my own experiences of being addicted towards things, none of that was easy. It's a tricky bitch, right? I'm going to pull one of these here. I'm going to pull one of these as a final message for hope, grace, compassion here towards what it is that we're talking about. And then, that might have been cut off by the camera. I'm going to go into an extended, okay, as I always do. So if you want to join me for the extended, links will be in the description of the video here as well as in the pinned comment. It'll be for sale individually and on the 3rd tier membership. If you guys are looking for access to all of them, I do have membership available. Links are in the description for everything, okay? So last message here, please, Spirit, for this person. Their guiding light. Message of hope, please. Metta Bhavana. I'm going to show the camera up here and read this. Ooh. Good things want to make their way into your life. That 4 of Cups. Generating the emotional safety of friendship within naturally opens your heart to embrace and enjoy the divine warmth that desires entry into your world. Sense the sacred friendship that exists between the divine heart and yours. Know that all is not lost. Affirm love's presence pervading your existence with faith in its goodness. Keep your heart hopeful. Oh, I love that. A message of hope is a message of hope. I love that. Friendship, too. I know that it's not easy to just go make a friend. And I know that there are people in situations where maybe you don't have friends. I do very much understand that experience. And I'm not saying just like, well, just go make a friend, right? Just go make a friend. What I'm talking about here is connection. We can, here on my channel, I do strive to provide an environment, you guys. I want you to be able to find connection here. It's really important that we don't dump on each other. Like I said, this is what pushes people away. It kills connection, okay? But there is a way to still find connection. Keeping that hope in our heart. Believe that. Believe it, okay? Believe it. I love you guys. I hope this message is helpful. Links, like I said, if you're looking for private readings, I do have that open. I do have a private mentorship program available too. If you guys do want some more personal help towards development, feel free to apply. I will get back with you on that as far as openings. Yes, donations, all of that. Links are in the description. So check it out if you want to. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I appreciate the participation, you guys. So love you, love you. I'm going to head into the extended. If you want to join me there, I'll see you. If not, good to see you. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all soon.